there been a shift in men the last few years, or are we all just like more aware? I'm in my early 20s. A lot of my friends are like gorgeous girls in their early 20s. Like, women just don't really like men anymore. Speaking from like personal experience, like I haven't dated in like 2 years. No man interests me.
From a woman who's sick and tired of men ghosting after a hookup, to how women can and should start thinking like men to get what they want. I've got all the drama lined up for you today. So let's get into the mess.
I don't think guys understand the power they have over girls. I'm gonna use my friend as an example. She's gonna kill me for telling this story. Hopefully she doesn't watch this. So one of my guy friends has been heavily pursuing my friend. She shot him down so many times. And yet finally when he stops pursuing her, now she's obsessed with him. Like, why did I catch her rewatching his story like 5 times yesterday? Y'all don't know your power. You start by being persistent and very interested, then you pull back, and suddenly we want you again. Worst part is he'll never fucking know it because she's never gonna show this to him. Like, he's gonna go the rest of his life not knowing that she was obsessing over him.
I feel like pretty much every guy who's watching this video has experienced this at some point. And situations like this really showcase how powerful it can be to be indifferent to someone. Things would have been even more intense with her if she saw that another woman was interested in this guy, because women find men attractive when they see that other women want them. Now, was the girl in this story genuinely interested in this guy, or did she just miss the validation he was giving her? If you were to ask me, in this case, I'd say it was the latter, because how this story was told to us didn't make it sound like she was even on the fence about him. When women say that they don't like drama, the story we just heard kinda goes against that. It's pretty much hardwired psychology that emotional tension increases attraction. It's one of the reasons girls can never quite let go of the bad boy, whereas the nice guy who comes with no drama and wants to give her the world gets ignored. If you take anything away from today's video, guys, it's that attention that's given freely is never appreciated.
Since when has it become so normalized to sleep with somebody and then ghost them? Genuine question. The amount of times my girlfriends will come to me, they'll be seeing a guy, going on dates, he's consistent, he's talking to them. As soon as they sleep together, that's it. End of conversation. Ghosting, never speaks to them ever again. And yes, we understand that they've lost interest. However, why has it become so normalized to not communicate that and to not say, hey, I'm actually not feeling it anymore? Especially after they have been inside that person. Do I think that people are owed an explanation after dates? No kissing, no sleeping? No, not necessarily. But it's like, when you move to that next stage, which is, in my opinion, very intimate, why has it become so normalized to just not communicate to that person how you feel? Actually quite disgusting when you think about it, because it's almost, I would say, a form of manipulation, that they pretend to be so invested and so interested in this person, and then the moment that they get what they want, they retract all communication and they give them no explanation. What do you think that does to a person? I just think it is so disrespectful, and you guys wonder why women don't want to sleep with you anymore.
In this video, she mentioned that once 2 people have had sex, things become intimate, but that's not how guys typically see sex, at least to begin with. Guys don't think of sex as this magical thing, so for most of us, when we meet someone new, it's just pleasure, a way to get off. Of course, that all changes if a guy's really feeling someone. But if he doesn't have that strong attachment already, it's not gonna just pop up out of nowhere. By now, women should be conscious of the fact that there's a chance that a guy will dip after getting what he wants, especially when you're dealing with someone who's desirable. As I said, guys don't need that emotional connection to bust a nut. And because women don't process things like men do, they tend to project their own wants and desires onto them. It doesn't matter how much a guy is talking to a woman, taking her out, or giving her the Bane backbreaking treatment, it doesn't mean he sees a future with her. Once a guy gets what he wants from a woman, he doesn't see anything long-term with. Even if that just means a situationship, the incentive to engage with her can simply vanish, which is much more likely to happen when a woman's dealing with a man who's got options. Does this mean he was faking it the whole time? Maybe, but not always. He might have really been into her, but once they hooked up, that post-nut clarity hit. Do men owe women an explanation after hooking up with someone they're not interested in anymore? Well, I guess it'd be nice. But the fact is, no promises were made, no contracts were signed, and most likely, no conversations were had. Like I always say, it doesn't matter whether you're a man or woman. If you want a certain outcome, You've got to engage in the types of actions and behaviors that will get you there. While getting ghosted isn't the nicest experience, it is part of hookup culture. So if you engage in this sort of thing, you shouldn't be shocked if things turn out this way.
Some of y'all really need to start thinking like a man when it comes to dating. What I mean by this is very, very simple. The number one thing you need to take away from men is that they are always thinking about themselves. Always whatever is in their best interest. If they're not ready to date, they can have the most amazing woman in front of them. But if they're not ready to commit to this woman, they just won't. They have this abundance mindset that most of us need to start adapting. As women, we feel like, oh my gosh, there's this amazing guy and I'm not ready for a relationship, but I will get ready for this guy, right? We have this scarcity mindset that this type of guy, we won't find a guy like that again. Men, on the other hand, they can have the most gorgeous women in front of them. But if they are not ready mentally, financially, for whatever reason, they will let that woman go because they know, you know what, not ready, but I'll find someone else when I am ready.
The way she's talking about men in terms of them having this abundance mindset lets me know that she's probably only dealing with the type of guys who have options. Most men aren't able to just replace women like that. So whenever they find someone they like and that person feels the same way, they tend to hold on to them. She said that men are always thinking about themselves, but I don't see how that also doesn't apply to women. When women meet a guy they find truly desirable, they don't want to let him go because if he's a rare find, he'd be pretty hard to replace. She even said as much in the clip we just watched. Saying that women should adapt to the way that certain men think in terms of abundance is kind of flawed because their requirements for what makes a good man is much higher than what a man has for a woman. If a kind and attractive woman meets a guy who's making very good money, is confident, and whatever else she may be looking for in a partner, if she does let him go, there's a good chance that she might not meet someone like that again because that kind of dude is rare.
Key thing you need to remember when you are thinking like a man when it comes to dating is that you have to prioritize yourself first in every single scenario. If you already made plans to go hang out with your friends and this guy hits you up last minute, or maybe he's hitting you up a few days before, but you already made plans, you're not going to cancel your plans to hang out with him, right? A man would never turn down hanging out with their friends just because their girlfriend is asking them to come to a trip with them. So they are never also going to put off work or any obligations that they have because they are very self-centered and very focused. You're just an addition to their life. They're not looking to accommodate whatever it is that this girl needs in this moment because they're focused on what they need right now. They're also very good about their boundaries. Do you guys not notice that? If a girl does something that they do not like, they get the instant ick and they're like, never mind, I'm good.
I promise you now, despite what she's trying to push in this video, there's no chance that a woman's going to blow off a guy she really wants for her friends. Telling women to think like men is just as silly as telling men to think like women. So honestly, I don't see the point of this. Men are naturally goal-orientated because we know that our competence and success will have a massive effect on the type of woman we're able to get. While women have goals and things they want to achieve, whether or not they're making $20,000 a year or $200,000, it's not going to make men like them any less.
We're done. Do you know how much excuses that women make for the guy that we actually like? We will continuously go back because we think of this as, oh my gosh, but I like him a lot, but maybe I can get over this. No, these guys are very firm with their boundaries. You have to be firm with your boundaries as well. If this guy does something that you find unattractive or just so off-putting, you need to learn to cut it the minute that it happens, okay? Because that is that's going to show that this type of person is going to do this again. It's not really something worth changing. And in the guy's mind, it's a done deal. And that's how you need to think of it as well. They are also very slow to fall for a woman. Like, they're not super invested just yet. They have to get emotionally invested to you. They have to spend time with you. They have to spend money on you, right? But it's not like a right away situation. Like, it takes them a little bit to figure out, like, if they really like this girl, right? In this instance, you need to think the same exact way. You need to take it slow, take your time, and vet this guy to see if he's even worth your time at the end of the day. This mentality is going to help you not fall so quickly for these guys and the type of games that they like to play in the beginning, or if they are playing a game, like, you really need to match their energy.
I don't know. When guys meet a girl, most of the time, They already know which box she belongs in, or they at least have a pretty good idea. Is she going into the situationship box or the relationship box? Now, a guy's not going to tell a woman where he put her, which is why women should really vet guys before they give up their bodies, especially if they're looking for something serious. Kind of like I mentioned earlier, if a girl meets a guy she's really into, she'll find it harder to give him up because it's not very often that women find men who tick all the right boxes. Telling women to match a man's energy when it comes to this sort of thing is a tall order because it would require them to go against their very nature.
You also need to prioritize yourself. That is the main thing that you need to worry about. When you prioritize yourself, you won't make any rash decisions. You'll be logical. You'll make sure this guy is even worth your time at the end of the day. You'll take your time with dating. You'll vet this guy more appropriately. And that way you're not falling so quickly for these guys' words, and it's like you're going to go off of their actions and how they're treating you. And you can move accordingly to how they behave, right? It's also very attractive as a woman if you are just putting your needs first. A guy is very much attracted to that because they like working hard for your attention. So if you're putting the focus back on you, it makes them, or it just kind of increases that vasopressin for them to chase you and to get them to earn you, basically. So you have to have this mentality that you have to earn me. I'm not going to give my love freely. And until I see your actions, then I'll definitely give in, because we're reciprocators of how they're treating us. So that's the mentality you need to have, and watch how your mindset changes when it comes to dating a brand new person. You're not going to be so invested so soon. You're not going to be so obsessed, romanticized. You're not going to do any of that. You're going to take it for what it is, take it for how they're treating you, and act accordingly.
Women are naturally more emotional than men, and what she's sort of advocating for in this video is to go with pure logic when it comes to relationships. And I can't see women doing that en masse anytime soon. That said, she's right in that a woman should pay close attention to a man's actions, but that's something we've been saying for years. But still, they don't listen. And while guys love the chase, we don't want to feel like we're wasting our time. So women should be very careful with the games they play when it comes to dating. If a woman goes too far with this withholding affection or emotional availability thing, it could backfire, as the guy might just think she's not interested and that his time and energy will be better spent elsewhere. At the end of the day, the kind of men that most women want don't like playing games. Instead, what they want is peace, cooperation, and that feminine energy that can bring a sort of calm into their life. When I jumped into the comments section of this video, the very first one was from a woman who mentioned what I've spoken about throughout most of this clip, and she said, "But there is a scarcity issue with good men though. The thing is, there are a lot of good men out there, but the majority fall short of what women are looking for these days, which is often in relation to their education or financial circumstances. Because you won't find that type of guy again. You want more from a man than a man wants from you. Most women can meet the standards of being attractive and not annoying." And this next comment, the original creator for this video responded to, "They think if they already found a woman who's beautiful, they'll find it again." So true. That's why you can't give these mediocre men a chance. See, when she talks about mediocre men, what type of guy do you think she's talking about? It's most likely not the kind of men she's chasing. The kind of guys she's interested in are rare. So despite what she's been talking about in this video, I doubt she'll cut someone like that loose at the first red flag. But hey, I could be wrong.
Has there been a shift in men the last few years, or are we all just more aware? I'm in my early 20s. A lot of my friends are gorgeous girls in their early 20s. Women just don't really like men anymore. Speaking from personal experience, I haven't dated in 2 years. No man interests me. And every girl I talk to feels the same way. If I meet a girl and she's single, she's like, yeah, I don't really date because I don't really care. I know that we say that women hate men, but men genuinely hate women, and it's not a joke. Women that they hate the most are the ones that they're supposed to love. So ew. But I feel you see way more now, girls in their 20s, later 20s that have never had a boyfriend. Is it just me? Because that's how I feel.
Okay, just because she's not dating, it doesn't mean she's not getting her cheeks clapped. And when women say they haven't dated or seen anyone for a certain amount of time, you always have to be skeptical of that shit. And while it seems like there are a lot of women online talking badly about men and vice versa, it doesn't mean that they hate each other. If anything, what we're seeing is the widening of the relational gap because men and women are finding it harder and harder to find the sort of relationship that best serves them. Saying that, over the years, the standards that women have for men have gone up, especially since they've been able to start making more money. And with all the validation that girls like this get from social media, it'd be impossible for a man to match that energy. This girl in particular has 1 million followers on TikTok, and most likely, she's getting to the bag. So do you really think if she met a nice or good guy who was making average money, she'd give him a chance? I mean, while it's not impossible, it's unlikely.
I decided to Google the number of OnlyFans workers. And when I tell you guys this number, I want you to remember sex work is an industry for young women. And so the majority of this number is going to come from Gen Z. I found out 1.4 million women in America do OnlyFans. 1.2 million is between 18 and 24. What percent of women, how many women in America are between 18 to 24? I find out roughly 10 million women. So just on OnlyFans alone, 10% of women in that age group are on OnlyFans. So there's only 10 million women between 18 to 25. Then I decided to think more about the consumers. Who is consuming OnlyFans? And I found out that 82 million American men subscribe to OnlyFans. Now, to think about how big that number is, how many people are in America? 165 million men are in the United States. And they're telling me that 82 million out of 162 million are subscribed to OnlyFans. Of the 82 million men subscribed to OnlyFans, 90% are married. And 87% of OnlyFans users are male and 68% of OnlyFans users are white. So the average OnlyFans customer is a white married man.
These numbers are crazy. If it's right that about 1 in 10 women between 18 and 24 are doing OnlyFans, I can only imagine what that number will look like in 10 years when this kind of thing is even more normalized. The explosion and success of OnlyFans just goes to show what happens when you live in a culture that's a sexual free-for-all, and the only things that matter are instant gratification, validation, and money. These young women are able to leverage themselves and financially benefit from thirsty dudes, and the fact that a lot of the guys who use OnlyFans are married makes me wonder what kind of lives and marriages they have. It seems to me that if a guy was happy with his sex life and marriage, he wouldn't need to sign up for something like OnlyFans. When guys sign up to sites like this, it's not just because they want to watch the girl's videos, it's because they want to connect with the girl behind the screen, so something is obviously missing from their lives. Like a lot of porn stars have done recently, I feel like we're gonna have a flood of women in the future who regret getting their cheeks clapped in front of the world. Because once that kind of content's out there, there's no taking it back. Anyway guys, that's about it for today. But if you enjoyed this video, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe, and share your thoughts in the comments.